Good morning. I just woke up. I'm late. I don't know if anybody's going to show up over here or not. But since I didn't wake up until 7, I decided I would come over here, see if anybody is awake. I have to put water on the stove real quick. Oh, look, there's already 2 people watching. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're just from the new YouTube For You page. And they're not. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I just woke up like 2 minutes ago. Yeah, I see you guys. You guys are regulars. Hello. Good, yay. Hello. Oh my goodness. I'm okay. I just woke up. I'm so late. I don't know how I slept so long. Thank you. That's what happens every morning. I have morning sneezes. I wake up with morning sneezes every morning. I'm going to go put some water on. Give me just a minute. I'll be right back. Oh, I can't believe I slept so late. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. Now I have to get water to... Just a second. Oh my God, it feels so good to not have a half-assed decently clean house in the morning. So glad I got off my ass yesterday and cleaned. I'm almost ready. I'll be right there. Just trying to get it ready. All right. Coffee is underway. Good morning. Yay. I'm okay. I guess I'm okay. I just woke up. Even the dogs still haven't gone out this morning. They haven't even, usually they wake me up at 5 a.m. to go out. They didn't even wake me up to go out. They're still not asking to go out. It's 7. I've been up for 10 minutes now and they still haven't asked to go out. They didn't stir. I guess it's the dogs that usually wake me up. It's really bizarre. But they shouldn't be. Hi, Lily. Good morning. Good morning. Got my coffee heating. Oh, I'm going to get a lot more cleaning done today. Oh. This place is filthy. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. So I put a big dent in it yesterday, but I have a lot more to do. So That's okay. I'll get it done. What are we going to talk about this morning? What's going on the news? Is anything happening in the news? Anybody had a chance? Good morning, Laurel. When do you get your x-ray? Don't be afraid to talk. Have I made everybody afraid to talk over here? Or is everybody getting coffee? I hope I haven't made everybody afraid to talk. People are still treating him as if he is just a spoiled, petulant child refusing to leave our White House. And I wish they would wake up and realize that it's not that he's a spoiled, petulant child. It's that his coup is not working, and he's looking for another way to make it work. His suits in courts are being laughed at, that his lawyers in PA, they're being laughed at so much that his lawyers quit from Pennsylvania and Arizona because they're ridiculous and they're embarrassed to be bringing them into a courtroom. Oh, that's wonderful news. Oh my God, that's wonderful news. Oh, okay, thank you. No fraud proof. On the 4th of December, your blood got done yesterday. They should be back a week on Monday. Oh, I'm so happy. Okay. Good. Trump suits, that's so good. No fraud proof. None. Zero. Zip. Zilch. No fraud proof. That was the brilliant plan. That has been the brilliant plan. The brilliant plan by Donald Trump. And I really don't think he's even smart enough to think up this stupid fucking plan. I really think this is the birthchild of Steve Bannon and Vladimir Putin. And oh my God, isn't it like a stupid plan? Like, what kind of plan is it like? What show did we grow up watching that used to make plans like this? Stupid plans. It's like a smoke circle plan. That's what it is. It's a smoke circle plan. I've already said that, but that's been the plan all along. And it's not going to work, and I'm so relieved, because trust me, I was really worried. His lawsuits in Michigan and Pennsylvania got thrown out for lack of they have no evidence. And they're trying to start lawsuits by saying, we're going to have evidence, we're going to have evidence. No, you can't. That's not how it works, honey. Lawyers should be embarrassed for supporting that son of a bitch's lame brain idea. He's evil, and all the evil cartoon characters who also wanted to take over the world. That's right. That's exactly. He's just like all the evil cartoon characters who wanted to take over the world. Stupid, lame brain, ill thought out. This is a Vladimir Putin coup that didn't work because American system is not as stupid as Russian system, and so Vladimir didn't work. It didn't work. Vladimir, it just didn't work. It just didn't work. It's just going to manifest, right? Like, it's just going to he's the evil cartoon characters always wanted to take over the world. Yep. $100 million billion. It just didn't work. Thank God. The whole world was worried. The entire world was worried. And it didn't work. Yay. So what story times are we going to have? It looks like my water is ready. There's no distribution. Oh, they're going to use the military to distribute it. According to Trump, They'll distribute it using the military supply line. Logistics in the military are brilliant. Isn't that what he said? The military is going to distribute in their magic frozen. Oh God, my tits look fucking saggy, baggy titties. Okay, now I have 4 minutes until my coffee is ready. I think Vladimir Putin got a copy of Barack Obama's pandemic plan and knew exactly what the plan was. Yes, we need to y'all get coffee. He knew exactly what the plan was during a pandemic. He created a virus. He made sure that he had the vaccine for it at his country before he created it. Then he sent it to all the other countries in the world, China being the first one. And sat back and watched the pandemic plan that Obama put in place go in to play, and watch the states that were battleground states implement vote by mail to avoid the pandemic, because that's what Obama's pandemic plan said. People will need to vote by mail to get through this pandemic. And the battleground states were the last ones that had implemented vote by mail. So the big plan was release the virus, get Democrats to stay home and vote by mail, and tell Republicans to go to the polls, and then invalidate the Democratic votes because they were vote by mail. That was the grand plan, to get him reelected. And he was going to change the Constitution of the United States after he did it. I know he was. He was going to try to use his stacked Supreme Court to do whatever he wants, and they won't. It looks like they're not playing. I still don't trust our Supreme Court, but it appears as though our Supreme Court is not willing to play his game. And that's the part that he did not count on. There aren't enough Russian operatives on our Supreme Court to pull the plan off. And the 2 Republicans that they put in since Trump's been in office, evidently they're not already owned by Russia. So they're not willing to vote against our Constitution. And for that, we owe them a debt of gratitude. But that's my take. That's what I think. I think that's exactly what happened. And it's because Donald Trump has his balls in a vice between Vladimir Putin and the Russian mob. And he has to stay in office. That's why even at this late stage, he is switching people out of the intelligence command holds. I don't think they're going to strike the Affordable Care Act down in the middle of a fucking pandemic. If they strike the Affordable Care Act down during a fucking pandemic, because he doesn't like them. Because he doesn't like them, they won't be sending vaccines to New York, because he doesn't like New York. Because New York doesn't get on their knees. New York wants to send him in prison. That's why he doesn't want to send it to New York, because they want to send him to prison. Fine, New York won't get a vaccine. See what kind of an evil son of a bitch he is? He said New York can't get a vaccine. People are disposable, all for power. That is really the reason. They won't get it because he doesn't like them. And California won't get it because he doesn't like California. Yeah. You will get it. Don't worry, Z-Day. You'll get it. You'll get it. He's not going to be in office. He's not going to be in office past January. You'll get it. By the time we have a vaccine, New York and California will both get it. But that is evidence enough that he is an evil son of a bitch. New York and California won't get the vaccine because they don't like Donald Trump, and they are, in fact, the holdouts that fought against him the hardest. So they won't get anything. You should have said you like me. Now watch, you're going to die. But the problem is there are Republicans in New York and there are Republicans in California who he's willing to kill because Democrats, the majority, don't like him. So the minority Republicans in those states can just, suck it, right? You should have fought harder for me. That's so fucking diabolical? That is so evident of his sociopath. He is, in fact, he's an evil son of a bitch. I am not even kidding. He is an evil son of a bitch. So that's that. Okay, my coffee is ready. Good morning, Amber Freeberg. I'm going to go fill up a coffee cup. I recommend everybody else do the same because mine is going to smell really good. I'll be right back. This is so good. Coffee, 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 coffee. And I don't believe that plan, Donald Trump is not smart enough to have thought that plan up. Donald Trump and nobody in his fucking circle smart enough to have thought up that plan. Not one person in his circle has that kind of brains. They're all inferior morons with luck and family money. Can we please stop that smacking noise while you lick your foot, Gonzo? Do you have to smack while you lick your foot? Really? Thank you, sweetheart. I know. If you could do it without making that noise, I'd be okay with it. But that noise is just something I don't want to hear. Sorry. Oh my God, this coffee is going to be so good. The best part of waking up is Donald Trump going to jail. Yeah, it's like, oh, please stop it. Please, you gotta stop that. You gotta stop that. You must stop that noise. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Everybody's got coffee. Yay. Oh my goodness. So, what are we going to talk about this morning? A story time? Do you guys want a story time? I don't know what kind of story time I can tell you. I could tell you some story times from my college days. Or I could tell you some story times from when I worked in a factory in the 70s and 80s and had to fight for women's rights. When I worked in restaurants in the 80s and had to fight for women's rights. I'm doing lovely, Gilbert. Nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I think I'll tell you the story about how I got my job with Lockheed Martin as a C student at Midwestern State University in Wichita Falls, Texas. How I was the only student at this little university in Texas who not only graduated with computer science degree, but got to, when I walked, I was one of the only people. Actually, there was one other. Actually, when I walked, I was the only one with a job. The year before I graduated, somebody graduated with a job making 80 grand a year. But the year I graduated, in computer science, at least then, I don't know if it's changed since, but we had like 200 people started out as freshmen as computer science majors the year I started as a computer science major. 200 people in the freshman class. There were only 8 of us that graduated. 8 of us out of 200 people. So computer science is a real hard major. That was my whole point. And I worked really hard through school, and I'm not going to include how hard I had to work to get through school in this story. But there were a lot of freaking, oh, why not? I'm just going to tell you my college experience, because it too is really fucking unique. And I can't tell you the whole, okay, so this next series is going to be the college experience. I'm going to call, because I was 36 years old when I started college, and I had a teenage daughter who had lost her fucking mind. So I was trying to balance raising a teenage daughter that was basically doing whatever the fuck she wanted to do, and I had no control. And if I tried to confront her, she would beat me up and then get taken away by the police. It did no good. Nothing I did with my daughter did any good. Now I understand why she was having such a hard time. Why she was... See, my daughter had a hard time her entire life. And I never understood why she had the behavior that she had. I couldn't figure it out, because I worked really hard to keep her, like, I mean, as hard as I could was a working mother, to keep her away from, like, I didn't have boyfriends around, or, you know, she didn't get exposed to drug use. She didn't get exposed to a lot of alcohol use. She didn't get exposed to a lot of different men coming and going in my house. All right. I didn't do that stuff with her. Well, I did it maybe once for about a year, but she was older. Anyway, she was hell when I was in college. I'm not going to go into why she was hell, but now I understand why she was hell. But when it was happening, I didn't know about events that I know about now that took place that damaged her significantly when she was little. I didn't know about them until last year. So she and I always had a difficult relationship because I couldn't understand what the hell is wrong with you. Now I do, and I feel bad. Anyway, so going through college was really hard. I lost my business. I had a business. I'd always wanted to go to college, but I couldn't justify taking that much time away from her. I couldn't afford to go to college and not work. And I always made too much to be able to get assistance on the first year that I would apply. You know, I would have been able to get assistance the second year if I hadn't been working. But as long as you're working, you don't qualify for financial aid. And being a single mom, I qualify for a little more, but I still don't qualify enough to be able to go to school full time, which is what I felt like I needed to do. I felt like if I were going to school, I needed to go to school full time, and I needed to not work because that would take too much time away from my daughter. So I never went to school, but I always wanted to. And I was dating a doctor that lived in Louisiana, and I lost my business, and so I was faced with starting over anyway. And so finally I was in a position in my life where I had low enough income on paper to be able to qualify for state assistance to get through school. And I was still a single mom, even though my daughter was 14 years old. 14 is 14. I mean, she's old enough to stay home by herself, but she is still qualifies as a minor. And so I got the single parent financial aid assistance, which made it so that I could actually afford to pay my electricity. And, you know, I had to take out a bunch of loans. And so I started college to get a law degree. I wanted to go be an attorney. And so my first semester in school, I was studying political science was my major. And I don't even remember what my minor started out being, but my major was political science so that I could do the jurisprudence track and get a law degree and practice law. And so I was in my first semester in school, and I heard about this thing called Texas Rehabilitation Commission. It's a program in Texas where if you have a disability or have been a misplaced worker, you can get special assistance. And so I applied for it. And I told them I want to go to a 4-year college. And since I lost my business, I was a displaced worker. And I was depressed. I was so fucking depressed. Are you kidding me? I just lost my business. So all of those things qualified me for financial aid from this special Texas program called Texas Rehabilitation Commission. And so they said, yes, we will help you with some vocational training. And I said, no, because I didn't even have a high school diploma when I started at MSU. So I said, no, I don't want vocational training. I want a 4-year degree or nothing. And they said, okay, well, let's send you for some psychological testing. And so they sent me to this psychologist's office who did it almost takes an entire day to do all the testing they do. And so they did all the testing, and the next week I had an appointment with my Texas Rehabilitation Commission worker. I went to her office and she was looking through my results, my IQ test results, and she was saying, oh. And I was like, what the fuck? She's looking on her computer screen. Oh yeah, you're going to like this. Oh, look at this. Yeah, you're going to like this a lot. Yeah, you did very well on your IQ test. And then she stopped and she said, yeah, we'll help you with college, with a 4-year college. They wouldn't ever tell me what my IQ test results were, just that I had done very well. And it went from we'll pay for vocational school to we'll pay for you to go to MSU, but you have to pick a major of something that's in great need, and the country has enough lawyers. So I had to pick computer science. At the same time that was happening, I was enrolled in a beginning computer science class, the one that when you start college, there's you have 2 sets of classes that you have to take. For anybody who hasn't ever been to college and needs to understand this. Hi, Katie. You have 2 sets of classes that you have to take. You have to take a core curriculum, which gives you a balance of studies about, you learn about computers, you learn about a little bit about math, you learn a little bit about English, you learn a little, those are the core curriculum. And then after you get past the core curriculum, you do your major, that's when I would start to get into the really heavy duty political science classes, right? So I was taking a computer science class as part of my core curriculum, because I knew it would be really easy. And math was really going to hurt me. So I'm in the middle of my semester and I'm acing this computer science class because I was already writing code at home on my own computer. I got one of the first home PCs that had internet capability the minute that they came out. So, and I was building a website for the business I had a website built for the business that I did. I stole code off of the university's website to make animated shit on my website. When you're talking back in 1997, somebody doing web stuff from home was pretty advanced. So of course, when I went in and partitioning my hard drive and installing different I was just doing all kinds of crazy shit on my computer at home already. So it was really, really odd for an older woman in this computer science level class to be acing everything in 1997. So the professor of that class, he was a doctor, just graduated from Notre Dame with his doctorate. And this was his first class he taught, and I ended up being his very first advisor student. that he ever had. He's still at the university. He's a great man. But I was his first student. But I was in that class that he taught. It was his first class. It was my first class. And I was his first counselor student. But he said, you know, you should probably, every time I would ace his class, he says, you know, why don't you come over and talk to the computer science people? Why don't you come over here and talk to the computer science people? So I went over and talked to them, and all of that happened at the same time that I was getting IQ tested for more help to get through school. Winston, what is wrong with you? Winston must see a lizard or a frog. He's trying to catch a lizard or frog. He's making that chirping sound that a cat makes when he's on a target. Anyway, so they started talking to me at the same time that Texas Rehabilitation Commission was telling me, you have to pick a different major. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll come over and talk to you. Fuck yeah. I love computers. I mean, I never thought I would be smart enough to get a degree in computer science. My God, but I love these fucking computers. I spend all my time at home tinkering on my computers. So sure, I'll come talk to you. And then at the same time, Texas Rehabilitation Commission started saying you have to pick something else. And computer science is one of your options. It's like magic. Okay. So I changed my major to computer science. And as it turned out, hi, Catherine Jones, as it turned out, computer science, the math in computer science is really fucking hard. And some of the theory for computer science is really fucking hard. And so I had to get through, when I started college, I had to get through remedial math, which is like adding fractions. I didn't even know how to add fractions because I dropped out of high school. I didn't pay attention to math beyond multiplication tables, okay? Anyway, so I really struggled hard with the math, but I really started catching the computer science. And ultimately I ended up doing, okay, in my first semester, this is the college experience, right? In my first semester, I also took another class in addition to computer science that I thought would be easy because my brother had told me about this one professor that taught, hello, Boudreaux, good morning, this one professor who taught appreciation of music. And he said, it's so fucking easy. Oh my God, it is so easy. You will get through this class so easy. Take it for your first semester too. Because my brother had gotten an associate's degree from the same university. So I took this appreciation of music class. And I have zero music background. So when you have zero, my brother played in the band, I mean, at high school. So he had his music theory down from school. I didn't have any of that. So music theory at a college level was not fun for me, but I was in there and I was doing it and blah, blah, blah. So, okay, so January is when the semester started with me in my music class, right? February is when Valentine's Day is, right? In March, I get a Valentine in the mail. Actually, late March. Hang on a second. Not late March, early March. But anyway, don't go too far and be good boys. They finally went out. First time all morning they've been out. That is so odd. Usually they go out at 4 a.m. It's very odd. Don't go too far. Be good boys. Okay, it's dark, so they won't go hunting, so I don't have to worry. So I get a Valentine card in the mail. Only this Valentine card is in a gallon Ziploc baggie. Gallon-sized Ziploc baggie. And it's like this. I get the Ziploc baggie out of my mailbox. And there's a letter in the Ziploc baggie from the post office. And it said, we're sorry. It took so long to get this mail to you. It was put in a mailbox and vandals damaged the mailbox. So it took us this long to figure out who it belonged to. And we're sorry, but here it is. At least you get to see the card. I couldn't see the envelope, but I could see the card. So the card is clearly from a professor because it says, I know I can't say anything this semester, blah, blah, blah. It was a long love letter that was obvious based on the language that he used that he was a teacher. And I was like, okay, which one of my professors now is trying to hit on me, sending me? So I go to school the next day. I'm going to school. I'm going to all my classes. I'm like, which one sent it? Which one sent it? Who sent it? Somebody sent this. Who sent it? Somebody, which one sent it? You know, watching their handwriting and shit, you know? And, you know, and I couldn't figure out which one. So finally, I'm in the hallway walking through the music building, and the music professor. I had to go there for something. I had to go to the music building for something outside of class. And he taught an 8 o'clock class. So it was in the daytime I was in it. Anyway, I'm walking down the hallway with him, and I as we're walking towards his office, I casually mentioned to him that I got a card, an anonymous Valentine card. And he said, "Oh, really? So it's not such a bad thing then?" And I was like, "No, it's not a bad thing. I just want to know who it is. I mean, it depends on who the fuck sent it, is if it's a bad thing." So then he asked me out for a drink. And he's my professor. And it's my first semester in college. My very first fucking semester in college. And I've got a boyfriend. Okay, I've got a boyfriend. But he's my professor. And I think I don't know if it's not allowed to go out with your professor. Maybe it's just a social thing. It's not like he didn't ask me out romantically. He was like, "You want to go out and grab a drink sometime?" And I'm an adult and he's an adult and maybe we can't. I don't know. I'm really bad at reading signs when somebody is interested in me, like really fucking horrible. You have to be pretty direct for me to know. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that shit, I'm not good at it. Anyway, I went out for a drink with him. And after he got 2 martinis down, I asked him, "Did you the one that sent me the card?" And he admitted that he sent me the card. And that he had put it in his mailbox and by his house, and that he had panicked because he's not supposed to do that. And so he took a gallon of paint and dumped it in the mailbox to hide the evidence so that the card wouldn't be able to come to me. It wouldn't be able to come to me. I told him I have a boyfriend. He still kept wanting to see me socially. Brought gifts by my house for Easter. Had his son carry the gift to the front porch. He was really well off. I mean, he wasn't well off, but he was well positioned in society, I guess is really. And his ex-wife left him for a doctor, and his son was being raised by his ex-wife and his ex-wife's doctor boyfriend. And so he brought his son over to my house and made him go up and tie a gift on my front door for Easter. And it went on me trying to placate him and to get my, I didn't know how to fuck. I don't have any problems telling somebody to fuck off. But I didn't know what the appropriate protocol was to get rid of him while he's my teacher. So his policy in school, his policy in his class was that if you have an A going into the final, you can get, if you have an A going into the final, you don't have to take the final. And he told me going into the final that I had an A. So I didn't show up for the final. And on Friday, the final was Wednesday. On Friday, I'm getting ready to go out of town to go visit my boyfriend. And he calls and says, Teresa, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I told you that you have an A, but really you have a B. And if you don't take the final, you're going to end up with a C. And I was like, this is Friday evening. He's telling me this. Friday at like 6 o'clock. I said, really? He said, you're going to call me and tell me this shit after it's too late for me to take the fucking final. You're going to call me and tell me this shit after it's too late for me to take the final? Really? Really, motherfucker? He says, oh, no. It's not too late to take the final. Come down to the music room tonight and I'll give you the final. I said, you know what, son of a bitch? Tell you what. You give me the C and I will see you in the dean's office on Monday morning. And I hung up the fucking phone and I left to go out of town. And when I came back on Sunday, my phone was full of messages. My answering machine was full of messages from him. Oh, Teresa, you know what? I just relooked and I made a mistake. You're right. You do have an A. You don't have to take the final. I mean, it was like stuttering. Oh my fucking God. Blah, 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 blah. So I got my A in his class. And I didn't have to go back to his class. But I knew that if he was doing that shit to me, that he was doing it to other females. I stood outside his office once for a real uncomfortable 45 minutes with other students who were expecting to be able to go in his office. And then saw a disheveled young female come out of his office. Okay, so he does that a lot. He trades grades for that shit a lot. And I'm sorry he wasn't going to get to do that shit with me. I got my A, and I took, the next semester was a summer semester. It was a fall semester where he did that to me. That's my first semester. The next semester was a summer semester, and I took psychology. And the doctor who taught the psychology class was the lead of the tenure board at the university. And she made the mistake of letting that out in class. And it had been bothering me ever since I got that A, like eating at me. So I went to her. I raised my hand. I told her, you're the chief of the tenure board. I need to have a talk with you. And she's like, no. I said, yeah. So after class, I went in her office and I started talking to her. And I started telling her. And at one point she was like, no, don't say it. And I said it and she went, fuck. Okay, we need to go see the dean. And so I went to the dean and I told them everything that happened. And I still to this day have all the evidence of what he did under the couch in my scrapbook. Or actually, I don't have a scrapbook. I have a box that's full of shit I should put in a scrapbook. So there was a big meeting. Now, I told you guys about the guy who raped me, right? The guy who raped me. He had raped me 3-4 years earlier. You know, remember his daddy was the postmaster general of the city? The university held a big meeting in the boardroom with, you know, the dean and all the big shots at the university and their lawyers. And the postmaster general of my city, who is the dad of the dude who raped me. And I couldn't say anything. I had to sit there while they decided that they weren't going to give him any punishment. But they assured me that it would never happen to anyone again. That I wasn't the first person it had happened to. Thanked me for gathering as much evidence as I did. And sent me on my fucking way. But I got the A, and he never hurt any other person at that university. He was one of these people who had his hair dyed, and he was balding, so he had this big fucking comb over, constantly trying to look younger than he did. And the next time I saw him on campus, I didn't even recognize him. He was bald and gray and looked like shit. So... They read him the riot act, but how many girls did he hurt while they were pussyfooting around with their kid gloves? You know, I mean, he told me himself at one point that he used to have one of his students live with him. She was 18. She was his girlfriend. He was taking her to a church that he ran the music program at, and she would sing at his church that was out in the country. They hired him to run the music program for the church out in the country. And he would take his 18-year-old concubine from college out to sing. It is disgusting. It is fucking disgusting. 18-year-old girls. It sounds like the big baby in politics. That's right, Boudreaux. So that was my first semester experience. My first semester experience, I got tapped for computer science. I found out that I'm scored really high on an IQ test and had to change my majors and had to fight off a fucking moron professor who tried to hold my grades for sex. Yay me. But because of all of my life experiences that led up to that, I had the strength to stand up to the professor. So that's going to be the beginning of my college experience story time. Talking about in my first semester, the professor that tried to, I wish, if I'd known I was going to talk about that, I would have dug the evidence out and shown it to you guys, because I still have it, all the cards he sent me, all the letters and shit that he sent me. It was really bizarre. And if I were 18 years old, there is no way I would have known how to handle that. No way I would have known how to handle that. I just let him hang himself. I gave him enough rope. I never committed. I never had any kind of sexual relationship with him. There was no touching. There was no kissing. There was no nothing. I just gave him the rope and let him hang himself. And he did. Hang himself, he did. I didn't sue or anything. I just got it. Yes, I am. But it's an interesting experience, you know. It was an exciting college experience. It was really, really difficult. But, you know, I just kept at it until I finished. And, you know, when I was a junior in college, I sat in the math department, the director of the math department's office, crying. Because no matter how hard I tried to get through the upper level math classes, actually just the intro to math classes, the Calculus 1 class, I was failing Calculus 1 for the third time. And every time my grades were getting worse, not better. And so I went into the the dean of math's office, and I was talking to him. And he sat there looking at me crying and said, "Maybe it's time to quit, sweetheart. College isn't for everyone, you know. Maybe it's just time to quit." I stopped crying. I looked at him. I'm like, "You fucking crazy? It's not time to quit." No, it's not. College isn't for Did you just really tell me that college isn't for me? That I should fucking quit? Are you nuts? I went from crying to walking out thinking the dean of the math department had lost his fucking mind, telling me to quit. Are you kidding me? So I went back to a psychologist, and I'm getting out of order with my stories. I want to continue on, but long story short, I got a psychological test. I went back to my therapist, and he told me I probably had test anxiety and gave me a relaxation routine to follow. And I did this relaxation routine, and the next exam I took in my calculus class, I got an 87, up from 35 the previous week. An 87 up from 35. I just had test anxiety. I had horrible test anxiety. You know, I have horrible anxiety. I never realized what it was, but I have horrible anxiety, and test anxiety was it. And just that little tiny bit of meditation before I would go in to take an exam cleared my brain so that I could ace it. I mean, it was so frustrating for me because I was taking calculus for the third time. I was able to teach people in my study sessions how to do the problems, but when I would get to the exam, I would flunk it. And I was so frustrated because I know what I'm doing. Why do I flunk these exams? And it was because of my test anxiety. All I needed was a little help with my test anxiety. And I flew through my math classes after that. It was great. It was still hard, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I can't understand, Oh, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Psychological issues are a real thing. And if we would just stop denying that they exist, people, because it's a disorder that you can't see, people don't get it. But if we would just stop denying that they really exist and giving treatment for them, we could get so much more out of our population. If we would just stop denying mental problems, if we would get over the shit that gets in our way, how we look, how we dress, how many teeth we have in our fucking head, how much money we have. Mental health problems are the important thing. Not how many cars you have in the fucking driveway. If you're a fucking sick brain with all these cars in the driveway, that's not doing the world any good at all. We need to invest in mental health. And I am a walking example, because 6 months ago, I was a fucking basket case, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, nonstop crying or angry, crying or angry, crying or angry. And everybody in my life was just like, you're horrible, you're horrible, you're horrible. Get control of yourself. If you'll control yourself, I saw you struggling. Somebody actually said this to me. I saw you struggling to behave yourself through this conversation, and I just want you to know that I appreciate it and plan to reward you for that. Like I have any choice over my fucking bipolar shit. I saw you controlling yourself. No, you can't fucking control yourself. It's not my voluntary action that makes me crazy. It's an imbalance in my brain that makes me crazy. I can't turn it off and on just by wanting your approval. I'm sorry. Come on. Get you a drink. There's water back there. Go get you a drink. Go get you a drink. Look, there's water right here. You are going to drink out of this container. Come on, look right here. There's water right here. I know you're thirsty, moron. Why don't you want to drink out of that container? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I could take that water out and pour it in a bucket and you would drink it. The same fucking water. He just gave me a shitty look like, bitch, I'm not drinking it. I told you I'm not drinking it. I know you're thirsty. He'll drink it when he gets thirsty enough. There's nothing wrong with that water. That's filtered water. And I washed your bowl. Anyway. That's right. That's right. I have to have a quiet place. Mental health is a huge problem. And it's not. Mental health. I got to turn my fan on. Hang on. It's really getting hot in here. Let me let the dog in. Come on, Gonzo. Come on. No. Go on. Get your slime away from my seat. You got slime hanging off your mouth. Go get you a drink of water. Okay. It's the same kind of thing. If you can, yeah. You're dyslexic, right? Yeah, I'm really smart. I'm not stupid. Sometimes you just need a little extra help. But mental health is not something that people can just wish away or try harder and do better next time. It's really not. Get on medication and bam, it goes just like that. I need to clean my lens. Hang on. There we go. That's better. It's really not. And people just don't understand that. They're not trying to be mean, but they just don't understand that mental health, it's not a matter of just having strong will and controlling yourself. If it was strong, you think I want to be like that? You think I enjoy that shit? It's a chemical imbalance. It's not. Why are you griping at each other? Gonzo, what's wrong with you? Don't you growl at him, Winston. He's eating his own food. That's his food. You guys want to see Winston? Here. I need to fill up my coffee cup. Winston is looking mighty happy. No, that doesn't work. I can't flip the camera. Never mind. You can't see Winston. It's like wishing your hormones away. You can't do that. You can't do that. You really, the hard things in life are the things that we need to talk about the most. The things that we are afraid to talk about the most, those are the things that we need to talk about. I think it's time for me to smoke. You guys want to go over to TikTok? We've got an hour in time here. We can go over to TikTok. Yeah, you can't wish your mental health away, and you can't wish your can't wish that stuff away. Anyway, I'm gonna shut down here, and I'll go live over on TikTok for my second cup of coffee. And thank you for joining me, and I hope you weren't disappointed in story time today. Maybe next time I'll have the evidence of what he said to me. It was craziness. It was really craziness. He should have gotten charges for defacing that mailbox. I think it should have been treated much more alarming that he had done that, But anyway, trading sex for grades is bad news. Really bad news. All right, I'll see you guys on, it's like a dirty secret. Like allowing, that's right. That's right, Boudreaux, I agree. All right, you guys, I will see you over on TikTok. I love you. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for joining.